If you talk about it, it exists.
Right.
Yeah. It's not like it exists and we refuse to talk about it, but making it a bigger issue than it needs to be is probably.
If you speak of it, it happens, doesn't it? It's just that everybody doesn't want to admit it. But blowing something out of proportion is the issue. Hollywood veteran Morgan Freeman, one of the industry's most well-respected actors, has a long-standing reputation for calm demeanor and professionalism. But even he has had co-stars whose antics crossed his boundary. These are not petty grievances. They are from a man who holds discipline, respect, and the art of acting above all else. When those tenets are disregarded, Freeman does not forget, and he does not forgive. From unexpected names to lesser-known behind-the-scenes battles, here's a rare look at the actors who pushed his limits. 1. Matt Damon. In 2009, Invictus would be Freeman's career highlight, selected by Nelson Mandela himself to play him on film. He was joined by Matt Damon as rugby captain Francois Pienaar. Initially, the casting pair looked perfect, but there was tension to come. During the UK premiere of the movie, Freeman playfully informed reporters, "We don't get on all that good. He's got a big head, thinks he's good-looking, and all that." The press dismissed it as banter, but people who knew Freeman recognized the bite in his remark. Damon, on the other hand, publicly complimented Freeman, stating it was an honor to be on screen with him. Insiders, however, observed variations. Freeman worked on Mandela psychology, whereas Damon delved into rugby culture. Their approaches never really meshed. Though no drama ensued, the frost remained. Freeman never withdrew his big head remark, and the two have not collaborated since. Whether it was playful jabbing or sincere criticism camouflaged as humor is unsure. 2. Eddie Murphy. Freeman brings acting virtuosity to near-religious discipline. Eddie Murphy feeds on improvisation and laughter. When the pair worked together, those clashing styles met their match. Murphy would show up late without a script and turn sets into ad-libbed comedy clubs. The crew would laugh, but Freeman became exasperated, viewing it as disrespectful to the craft. Director Rob Reiner later acknowledged Murphy's antics messed up serious scenes, destroying several takes. To Freeman, Murphy got funny and professional mixed up. To Murphy, Freeman's approach was stiff and old-fashioned. Their styles proved incompatible, and they never worked together again. 3. Will Smith. Initially, Freeman looked up to Will Smith's ambition, and Smith appeared keen to learn from him. But then Freeman started viewing Smith's charm as phony, a means to professional progress rather than genuine cooperation. He encouraged Smith to take on darker, riskier parts, and Smith opted for blockbusters that Freeman perceived as bland and commercially oriented. To him, it was as if Smith stole Freeman's reputation without accepting his principles. Freeman never directly confronted him. He merely pulled back. Smith kept praising Freeman in public, but the two have not reconciled on camera. The rift wasn't personal dislike, it was Freeman's disdain for phoniness. Smith never publicly fought back. He still speaks fondly of Freeman, crediting him as a legend. Whether that was sincere or more refined diplomacy, only Smith can say. The two have not worked together since. There's no feud, no tabloid scandal, only space. For Freeman, the problem wasn't that he didn't like the man, but that he didn't like the approach. Being genuine, to him, isn't an add-on. It's the whole thing. 4. Mel Gibson. If there is one inflexible rule Freeman has, it's this: there is no excuse for talented behavior to cross ethical boundaries. He braved brassy personalities and artistic disagreements with diplomatic tact, but Mel Gibson was another story. That was personal. Freeman, at first, looked up to Gibson as both performer and director. Gibson had demonstrated himself with intense acting and large-scale films. But as their careers intersected on possible projects, Freeman became suspicious. Gibson's art was mixed for him with personal fixations and polemical philosophies incorporated into the narratives themselves. What would have been wonderful scripts, according to Freeman, contained toxic subtext. Producer Brian Grazer subsequently explained Freeman distanced himself from Gibson vehicles once he appreciated the depth of those prejudices. For Freeman, It was not merely an artistic letdown, but a moral one. The art of storytelling, he felt, was supposed to serve the story, not an agenda. The turning point was when Freeman was attached to a project potentially interpreted as promoting Gibson's vision. He departed without hesitation. Subsequently, he encapsulated his position with unusual frankness. Mel taught me that brilliance without character is mere dangerous intelligence. And dangerous intelligence does not belong in storytelling. Gibson never lashed back publicly, attributing the criticism to misunderstanding. But the professional respect was lost, replaced with silence. Freeman did not sever his ties through spite. He did it to defend the integrity of the craft he had dedicated his life to. For him, Gibson violated the one-line talent could never salvage. Number 5, Russell Crowe. To Freeman, a film set is holy ground, an environment where respect and cooperation are as important as talent. He's worked with every temperament under the sun without grumbling, but Russell Crowe tested his patience to its limits. On what should have been a showcase project, Freeman found himself contending with Crowe's volatile working style. It wasn't a single explosion, but a steady pattern. Challenging Freeman's interpretations in front of the crew, directing other actors without consulting the director, and creating tension that Freeman saw not as passion but arrogance. Director Ridley Scott later acknowledged the strain, admitting that Crowe's habit of berating crew and stirring drama made the shoot exhausting. Freeman never stormed off or raised his voice, but the frustration was clear. The coup de grace came during the press tour. Crowe publicly dismissed Freeman's old-fashioned method, with praise for his younger peers for more authentic performances. For Freeman, it wasn't just criticism, it was a dismissal of his decades-long career. His comeback was swift. Russell confused being difficult with being deep. True intensity is born of discipline, not drama. Crowe never responded, describing the dispute as a generational divide. But the harm persisted. Freeman quietly refused to work with him again, and no director has matched them since. No feud now, only silence. Freeman admits Crowe's abilities, but rejects the idea that arrogance is a synonym for artistry. In a business founded on trust and cooperation, that's a boundary you cross once. Number 6, Kevin Costner. When Morgan Freeman speaks of professionalism, he does not use the word as a buzzword. For him, a movie set is hallowed ground on which every part, big or small, is there to facilitate the story. Ego, in his opinion, must always take a back seat to collaboration. But when he worked with Kevin Costner during the height of Costner's popularity, Freeman saw the complete opposite. Their partnership started in Costner's dances with Wolves days when he was newly minted from Oscar victories and box office supremacy. He wasn't the star alone, he was directing, producing, and setting himself up as the undisputed hub of the enterprise. Initially, Freeman granted him the benefit of doubt. Costner obviously possessed vision and ability, and Freeman admired it. However, it soon turned into frustration. Costner often overruled directors, rewrote scenes unilaterally, and even micromanaged other actors. For Freeman, an Oscar-winning veteran of 4 decades in the business, being directed by an actor in this manner felt less like collaboration and more like desecration of the craft. Producer Jim Wilson later conceded that Freeman had attempted to express his concerns diplomatically, but his warnings were dismissed. Before long, the production was all about Costner's vision. Scenes were reworked to highlight him, with veterans such as Freeman relegated to the sidelines, even though the enterprise was marketed as an ensemble. Freeman's verdict in private was scathing. Costner equated success with insight and forgot that good leadership is serving the story, not having the story serve you. Costner never spoke out about the tension. Off camera, his words regarding Freeman were courteous but formulaic, more press-savvy than genuine. Off camera, sources indicate that he waved off Freeman's anger as merely the collision of 2 large egos. The two have not collaborated since, and sources are skeptical that they ever will. For Freeman, the problem was never Costner's ability. It was humility or its absence. He has always felt that leadership on a set should be earned by inspiring others, not by dominating them. With Costner, he sensed that lesson never took hold. Number 7, Charlie Sheen. Of all the performers to incur Morgan Freeman's displeasure, Charlie Sheen stands tall, not for a single volatile outburst, but for the way in which Sheen represented everything Freeman dislikes about Hollywood. The romanticization of chaos, the acceptance of self-destruction, and the manner in which abandon infects entire productions. Initially, Freeman was giving Sheen the benefit of the doubt. He glimpsed flashes of real talent in Sheen's early work and was eager for substance behind the tabloid persona. But that soon evaporated. On location, Sheen's unreliability became apparent. Skip call times, poor preparation, emotional moments sabotaged by distraction or absence. What Freeman deemed sacred ground was suddenly wobbly and insecure. The issue was more than mere inconvenience. Freeman felt that Sheen's drug use and erratic behavior posed a threat to both the integrity of the work and the stability of the crew. Producer Chuck Lorre subsequently admitted that Freeman's unofficial warnings regarding Sheen's deterioration were prophetically accurate, as his antics quickly became intolerable for any production to continue with. For Freeman, the point of no return was when Sheen's scandals started dominating the movies. The interviews were not about the acting anymore. They were about Sheen's most recent meltdown. Freeman frequently was pressed into speaking about behavior he didn't approve of and couldn't control. Oliver Stone would later comment on how visibly discomfort Freeman became whenever Sheen's off-screen mayhem took center stage. Freeman's last comment on the subject was direct. Charlie showed me that talent without discipline is waste, and waste pollutes everything in its vicinity, even those who are attempting to assist. Sheen never responded publicly. Either from respect or resignation, he maintained his distance. He has never commented at length on Freeman, although those who are close to him indicate he knew precisely how the veteran actor felt. To this day, there's been no reconciliation, no collaborations, no communication. For Freeman, this was never a matter of conflicting egos. It was a matter of principle. Discipline, in his book, is non-negotiable. Talent can get one invited through the door, but without respect for the craft, that door closes fast and remains closed. Closing summary. Ultimately, Freeman's falling outs with actors such as Charlie Sheen, Kevin Costner, Russell Crowe, Mel Gibson, Will Smith, Eddie Murphy, and Matt Damon exhibit a recurring motif. He keeps his craft and the communal ethos of filmmaking on a high plane. It's never been gossip and grudges with him. It's about keeping the integrity of the set safe from ego, anarchy, and opportunism. Once trust is breached, Freeman just doesn't look back. But what about you? What feud surprised you the most? And was Freeman right to be so tough on his stance? Sound off in the comments, and don't forget to like this video and subscribe for more tales like this.